Hello there everybody, and welcome back once again to my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode Season 3. We are now at Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the last one, I urge you to go back and check that one out. But when you come back and check this one out, as per usual, this is your last chance to do so before spoilers. Well, here we are in France, off the back of 2 wins. Can I make it a hat-trick here? Can we get 3 in a row, or is someone going to come along and slow down my momentum? And I can actually hear myself because I forgot to turn my mic off again. And I'm just saying, okay, Jensen, up there in P3. I was actually really surprised by how fast an OP, because he was flying here. So I'm trying to complete this lap, and I think I'm on the phone at this point, and unaware that my mic was on, so I do apologise for any random moments of conversation you hear that are out of context. But yeah, we're now on our flying lap, should I say. This is Q3, and we are trying to set the best lap we can set. Coming towards the last corner, we are out of time almost. Hitting that last apex, what's it going to be? We've got a purple first sector, we've got a purple second sector. Is this going to be a pole position? Yes, I believe it is. Go. I was really happy with that lap. It is a pole position, and a comfortable pole position by half a second. You can even hear me say, let's go, because of how happy I was with it.
Welcome along then to France, host of the world-famous Tour de France. But we're not talking 2 wheels today, we're talking 4, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. Mastering a lap of Paul Ricard means getting to know 15 corners, 6 left and 9 right, for an overall lap distance of 3.6 miles. The 2 halves of the long Mistral Straight are separated by a heavy braking zone into a potential overtaking hotspot at the Chicane Nord. And watch out for the drivers running onto the distinctive coloured stripes, which are low in grip and highly abrasive. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Joker lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Button, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, and Gasly, Sainz, Leclerc, Tsunoda, and Sergio Perez. Vettel, Stroll, Max Verstappen, and Norris. They've taken a grid penalty. Ocon, Russell, Artem Markelov, and Nicholas Latifi. Mick Schumacher, Mazepin, Giovinazzi, and Guan Yu Zhou. And with lights out, just...
Apologies for the language and the bits of conversation you heard out of context in the qualifying. But it is lights out and away we go now. My headset is off when I'm filming it, so you shouldn't be able to hear anything more. And Jenson Button has got an absolute flyer off the start. He is leading the way, and that is Daniel Ricciardo up into second. So the McLaren driver getting a superb move round the outside on me. It is Button, Ricciardo, myself, Hamilton and Gasly, the top 5 on the first lap. So great start by Jenson there. I got quite a bit of wheel spin, and as a result, I had to try and cover Hamilton alongside me, and we're now 3rd and 4th. But I'm going to try and cover him on the straight because that Mercedes still has a little bit of power over us on the straight. I don't even think I need to defend too hard, to be honest, because he hasn't quite got completely alongside. I will just kink left to make sure he can't get through, and he doesn't. So, Button, Ricciardo, me, heading up to the left-hander now. We are doing quite well here. We're still in P3. And we've gone! We've hit the car, but the car has gone completely round. We have spun out, and that is gutting. We had a relatively decent start We were still in the top 3, but we have spun it all away. And we are going to fall to the back of the grid. So we now have it all to do here. And I'm trying not to rejoin the track in a dangerous manner and end up taking someone out. But I wanted to make sure I was in position so that when the last car had gone, I could rejoin as quickly as I could. But we just hit that curb too hard and round it went. And we have thrown away all the hard-working qualifying that we did. That amazing qualifying lap that put us on pole, that is now out the window. And we're now having to do it all over again. Sebastian Vettel has dropped out of the race. And we have left ourselves with an even harder job than what we had in qualifying. So we've got a recovery drive on our hands, and the first driver that's my target is Guan Yu Zhou, and he's tucked up behind Mick Schumacher, who's tucked up behind Nikita Mazepin. So these guys should be relatively easy to get past. In fact, the amount of momentum I had over Guan Yu Zhou going through that first corner, I nearly crashed into him. We've gone down the inside of him, we've got past him, and next up is Mick Schumacher, and we should be able to get him on the straight here, because the straight line speed of the Haas is just practically non-existent. I mean, I feel like I could probably get out and walk faster than that car in a straight line. Anyway, we've got past Mick Schumacher, and I'm now tucking into the slipstream of Nikita Mazepin. Can I get both Haas's on the straight? Mazepin goes defensive, but I just sweep around the outside, and the job is done. 2 Haas's in 1 straight. You has to be kidding me. Right, puns aside, we've now gone round the outside of Markelov round there. That's not really an overtaking corner anyway, let alone round the outside. But Markelov has now come back at me down the inside there. But if I hold it out and take the inside for the last corner, we should be able to stay ahead of Markelov. And that is exactly what we've done. Up next is King Latifi, the real GOAT of F1. And we're getting in the slipstream, he's gone defensive, so we're just going to, again, get him just before the braking spot, which is what we've done, using the straight line speed advantage and braking that bit later. Right, next, Italian Jesus. We're just picking them off one by one here, and I'm getting into the slipstream of Italian Jesus, and this should be a relatively straightforward move down the inside of the first corner. Giovinazzi covers a little bit, so we again take to the outside, but I've not quite got that done. And I've taken a bollard with me for good measure, so I'm needing to shake that bollard off. I have shaken the bollard off, and I've shaken Italian Jesus off as well by getting the move done on him. Although we did go a little bit wide there. Was a little bit of a cheeky move, but we've got it done. Next up is Esteban Ocon, who's by George Russell, who's running really well in this race. Right. Unfortunately, because we started on the soft tyres, we have had to pit early and go on to the mediums. So this is going to be quite a hard race, especially if the majority of the field 1 stop and we've got a 2 stop. So our strategy has already put us at a disadvantage. I was considering trying to run the softs a couple of laps longer so that I could just switch onto the hards, but my softs were done and I was starting to lose a ton of time. Right, round the outside of Charles Leclerc while he's tucked up behind Mick Schumacher. That was relatively straightforward. Next up is Mick Schumacher for a second time today. We're going to go round the outside, change to the inside, and that move is done. We are now ahead of Mick Schumacher. Next up is Lando Norris, who is tucked up behind Markelov, who I think we both dispatched quite quickly, although we didn't capture it. Anyway, Lando Norris is next in the McLaren. We've got DRS, we've got overtake. We're getting closer, closer, closer. Is this going to be a dive up the inside? No, Norris covers. So we're going to have to outbrake him round the outside and sweep round. That is exactly what we've done. Boom. Next, Guan Yu Zhou in P15. And once again, we're going to have to tuck into him. We're going to have to really tuck in and have a look at getting through around this tight section, because I cannot afford, with the strategy I'm on, to lose any more time than what I've already lost. And we've made a move down the inside there, and that's one of my favourite places to overtake a car that is much slower, and we've got that move done quite nicely. Right, using a lot of curb there. In fact, enough curb to trigger a track exceeded warning. and that's not good English at all, should I say exceeded track limits warning. But it's Bottas tucked up behind Sainz right in front, and they are my next target. So we're making overtake after overtake here, and I'm really having a lot of fun in this race. Who said the French Grand Prix is boring? Because this one really isn't. This one is providing a lot of entertainment from the get-go, and it all because of one little spin. Right, we're now right behind Bottas and Sainz, and Bottas is really tucking up. Is he going to have a look at Carlos? Because my thought is, if he has a look at Carlos, I can probably look at taking them both. But now they're both being held up by Italian Jesus, so I've got to take my opportunities as and when they come. And Bottas really not willing to leave me much room at all, but I'm going to use the room I did have to try and get past him, and that is what we've done. We have got past him. Next up is Carlos Sainz, and he is tucked up behind Italian Jesus. So we're now going to try and nip 11th place off of the pair of them. Sainz will probably get through first because he is a lot closer to Italian Jesus than we are to him. Sainz is going to the outside. Giovinazzi is staying left, and I think Sainz has got the move done, and we're going to try and use the momentum we have to get past Italian Jesus. We did that, but we did it off the circuit, so I'm giving him a little bit of room if he wants to go through on the inside, which I think is only fair. He's got back ahead now, so I let Giovinazzi back through because that was the only fair thing to do, albeit not losing momentum, although now I've gone back past him in my favourite overtaking spot. I waited 2 corners, the fast right and then part of the second right. I believe that's the rules anyway. Anyway, we're now tucked up behind Sainz, and this is a straightforward move up the inside. In fact, we've got him before the corner, so that just shows the engine advantage we have. Right, next up is Pierre Gasly and Max Verstappen, and they're scrapping over what is currently P6. God, this race is just, it's constant. Anyway, we've now got Perez. Verstappen has moved on. Perez is now in front of us. We're going to go round the outside, Checo Perez. And Perez is really fighting me here. It wasn't a straightforward round the outside move like we've seen a couple of times in this race. But I'm going to stick to this outside line so I can get the inside for the next corner. That is exactly what we've done. And Perez will have to back out of that one. And that is exactly what he's done. Right, AI are pitting now. So Verstappen now into P2, Gasly into P3. We're into P4, but we're having to pit as well. And that's a little bit wide into T1 there. That's not quite the momentum we'd have wanted to have. And we've decided to pit again and take on a fresh set of boots to the end. So we're currently running in P10, still in the points, but I'm not giving up on this race yet. There's still 12 racing laps to go, and the first thing I'm doing is getting past Yuki Tsunoda. He's going to cover, we're going to take the racing line, we're going to brake later, we're going to sweep round the outside. Boom, Tsunoda is done. Next up is Lance Stroll. So we've got to push like hell now, set these qualifying laps like we've been doing all race. We've actually got the fastest lap of the race. Stroll moves up to P5 because of other drivers that have pitted. And now we're going to take the usual dive down the inside here. That is one of my favourite overtaking spots, as I've said. Up into P5. Right, next up is my teammate, Jenson Button. He's down to 4th. Whatever happened to him? He was leading early on, and his pace looked really promising. So I really thought Jenson would probably go on to win this race. So I'm surprised that he is in P4 and not in P1. So, but it is what it is, and now we're going to try and catch up to our teammate and get past him. We've just set another fastest lap, a whole second faster than our previous fastest lap. So we are on a run here. We are just charging. And we are now 2 seconds behind Button. We've caught him quite quickly. And I'm just loving the feel of this car at the moment. I'm loving the circuit. And I am just in a rhythm. I have found a rhythm. And we've now caught Jenson Button with 6 laps to go. And I'm hoping my teammate plays the team game here, because we are the main contender in the championship in this team. Come on, Jenson, be fair. Be fair, Jenson. He's giving me very little to no room at all there. And I'm now going to have to try and go around the outside here to get the inside line. And that is exactly what we've got. We have now passed Jenson Button, but he did not make that easy on me at all. Come on, Jenson. I'm fighting for a championship here. You were supposed to be winning this race, Jenson. What the hell? Where's your pace gone? Anyway, we're now charging towards Lewis Hamilton, who is the championship leader. And if I can still outscore Hamilton here, you know what? That'll be a job well done. We've got Red Bulls both in 1 and 2, and they are, I think at this stage, way too far ahead to be caught. But Lewis Hamilton can be caught. And we've got 2 laps to go now once we complete this one. And we're going to go down the inside. Note Lewis covers, so we're going to take the racing line. But the momentum we have, thanks to DRS and overtake, has helped us gain P3. So, from last to third, and with a 2-stop strategy, I don't think that's too bad of a drive. You can see now as we just blast past Lewis Hamilton. But, like I said, from last to third, after that spin on the first lap of the race, and with a 2-stop strategy, where we've had to overtake quite a few cars twice, I feel like I've really put in a great recovery drive here. And in fact, we have closed up on both the Red Bulls, because they were fighting each other at one point. Oh, we've gone wide there, though, and we're giving an opportunity to Lewis Hamilton. Is this going to be a dramatic finish? Hamilton down the inside. We're going to have to try and hold it out around the outside and stick the inside line at the last corner. We have done that, but fudge me, that was close to losing P3. But it is P3, a great recovery drive. I did what I could after the spin.
Out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
Another superb French Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, Crofty, this was won through an abundance of speed and an abundance of skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath, we saw it all today. And it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race, surely, that will satisfy the purists today, I think.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
I'm not going to lie, I am kicking myself because of that spin, but what an entertaining race it delivered us, and as a result, the recovery drive I put in with the pace I had, still making it onto the podium. I'm very happy with that. And I still outscored what was the championship leader coming into this race, Lewis Hamilton, and with a comfortable fastest lap. Look at that! We set a 1 minute 30.4 and nobody else was even in the 1 minute 30s. Everybody else was, the closest was a mid 1:31, so we were just flying in that race. And we now go to the standings to check what this does for the championship. And Max Verstappen has closed right up to Lewis Hamilton in second place. We're in third, so we've closed the gap by another 4 points to Lewis Hamilton. We were 24 points behind coming into this race. Now we're 20. Game on. We are still well within this fight, and I am still going for the championship. So after the spin, I dare say that we've done the best damage limitation we could do. Look at AlphaTauri sitting pretty there in fourth. They're having an amazing season. 3 Honda-powered cars in the top 4. This well and truly is a changing of the guard. Well, I'm going to leave you with the highlights reel from this race because they were good. So enjoy those. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, punch the sub button, and join me the next time I release content. Till then, stay safe. Look after yourselves. TTFN, guys. Ta-ta for now.